Hello students. Today in this video we're going to talk about comparing quantities using percentages, right? Now, in the previous video we saw many types of comparison. We compared using addition, compared using subtraction, which is more, which is less. Then we compared using out of, like fractions, 3 out of 6, like that. Now, also you learnt about ratios, how you could do ratios and compare. Ratios is nothing but, let me recap all that. Ratio is nothing but fraction, but written in a different way. Proportion is nothing but equivalent fractions written. That's all. Equivalent fractions written. Now, what is percentages then? How is percentages connected to others? Percentage is a special type of fraction with the denominator 100, right? That means what? You know many different types of fractions like 2/3, 4/6, 5/10, like that. Now, if I, and of course you have 13 over 100, 16 over 100. Now, out of this, all are fractions only, but these fractions are called percentages. That's all. Fractions, so percentages are just fractions with the denominator 100. Now, can you convert any fraction to, for example, this 5/10 is not a fraction, but can you convert it in such a way that the denominator becomes 100? If you can do that, once you do that, that will become a fraction, right? So percentage, and one more thing, percentage is compared to the whole thing. Means, for example, I have a bowl, I have a container with all the different gases. Gases are there. Oxygen also is there, nitrogen also is there, something like that. Now, compared to the whole thing, how much of it is oxygen? How much of it is oxygen? That is a thing. That is a percentage. I hope you understood the meaning of percentage, right? Now let's take one more example to understand the percentage, right? Now let's say that in a bowl you're having beads, right? Black color beads and blue color beads. Okay. Now I have got black color beads and blue color beads. Now if I write what is the fraction of black color, I will write white. 4 is the black color. 4 is the black color beads, fine. But what fraction of the total beads is means, so by the total we will write. So this talks about the black number of beads, black color beads, right? Now, percentage also same way. It talks about out of the total. But only thing is the total is not some other number, it's 100. That's all. So now we say 4/10 of it is black color. Now, can we convert that? Can we convert that into a percentage? How? We know percentage means we need denominator 100. Now, how can we get from the 10? How can we get 100? By multiplying it 10. So the same thing we'll do here also. What will happen? It will become 40 by 100. Of course, now we know that 4 by 10 is nothing but, as per equivalent fraction, same as 40 by 100. Now, how do I write this? 40 as it is I write. Percent. Per means over, on. So this entire thing becomes a sign called percentage, right? The entire. So it's written like this: 40 percentage of all the beads in the bowl is blue, black color bowl, black color beads. Now let's take the same thing. Now blue color beads is 6 out of 10. Same way, if I convert that into equal fraction with 100, I get a 16. So I write this as 60% This entire thing comes as a symbol called like this percent. So that is how you change any quantity to percentage. Now, why we did it like this? Now, when you did it like this, 40% and 60%, you could see easily compare 40 is more than 60, and that's why, so 40 is less than 60, and that's why black color beads are lesser. You can easily compare like that. Okay, go to the next thing. Now, if you have some fraction itself, see, now previously the fraction was there and you could do it. Now say, for example, one third, one fifth of something, one fifth of the milkshake, or one fifth of the milkshake has milk. Now, how much percentage of milk is there in that? Means now you have to convert that, correct, into percentage. Again, what did I tell you? Take the same fraction. Now you have to convert this into a fraction which will give you 100. Now, of course, I can find out what will give me 100 and then also do. That is one way of doing it. Is there another way of doing it? Let's see. What I'll do is I know that I need this percent, correct? That means this entire line and this 100 in the bottom comes out as a percentage sign, correct? So this I will not touch. So I'll write into 100 by 100. That's this percent. This I will not touch. I will not use in the calculation because that changes into a sign like this. Next, I will see whether I can simplify the remaining numbers. So 5 times 1, 5 times 20. Oh, 1 into 20. So becomes 20%. Let me take another example. Let me take okay, 3/4. Okay, 3/4. How do I convert it? Means into 100 by 100. That's all. Percent means, remember, into 100 by 100. And this one I will not touch because that becomes a percentage sign. And I will use the remaining things. 4 ones are 425s are. So that makes it 75%. Finish. So like this, any fraction can be converted into percentages. Now, let's see how to convert decimals. If I have something like um, 0.01 something, if I'm having like this, how do I convert this into percentage? Nothing. It's all simple. Again, simple. Now, you know that decimal is nothing but fraction. How you can write it as a fraction? 0, 1, two decimal places, so it's 100. So basically, it's a 1 over 100, 1 by 100. Now we got a fraction. How do you do that convert into percentage? We write like this. We don't touch this. Retain it like that. So this becomes 1 by 1. So this will become a percentage sign, and this is 1. So basically, it is a 1%. This is one way of doing it, converting the decimal into first fraction and then doing. But there's a one more way also. Just like how we did for fraction, we can just say 100 by 100, just directly also. And we don't touch the bottom part because that becomes a percentage sign. So now we multiply on the top part 0.01 into 100, that much percentage is going to come. So that become 0.01 into and 100 becomes 1, so it becomes 1%. Either of the way, it's the same thing. I just did not use this much step. Directly I used into 100 by 100. That's all. The difference is that's all. Right? So like this, decimal is nothing but fraction, can be converted to fraction. And percentages is also a fraction with a denominator 100. Right? Now, now if you got percentages, for example, now if I say um, 52%, 52% of um, this milkshake has, the fruit. Remaining is milk, if I like that fruit juice or fruit part. Now I have to know that how much is like fraction in the form of fraction. Now we know what is this. We just now convert the symbol into a what it was. Symbol was what? 52. This symbol was nothing but by 100, is it not? By 100. Simple. It became a fraction. Now, fraction usually is there in a simplest form. That's a standard way of doing it. So we just do the standard form. Basically 50 and a 26, right? And a 25 and a 13. So your simplest fraction will be 13 over 25, and that is a way of representing 52%. Simple. 52%. Percent means by 100, and you just simplify it to get a fraction. Now, how do we write that same 52% as decimal? Okay, same 52% means percent means it is by 100. Now, directly from this, without simplifying, you know that this decimal, how we'll write decimal? Two zeros are there, two decimal places, two things are there. So two zeros are there, two decimal places from the right side, correct? So it becomes a decimal point comes here. So we change it into a finish. That's all, right? So watch this video a few times, then you'll get the hang of everything, right? Now let's see how to change percentages to fractions and decimals is done. Let's see how fraction percentages to how many. How many? If I say, okay, 18% of students in a classroom are girls, and of course, girls, 18% of students are girls, and the entire class strength is, let's say, let's say 90. Okay, 90 students are there in a classroom, total strength, right? Now you know that 80% of students, percent of students means total students, right? Now I'm going to convert this language sentence into a mathematical equation. Remember that. So 80% of 90 students, right? 80%, 18%, 18% per cent of means into 90 students. That's all simple. When I do this, I simplify this. I'll get 18% were the girls, no? So these are all girls. These are all girls, right? 80%, 18% into, of means into, of the 90 students. If I simplify this, if I simplify this, I'm going to get, okay, 162 by 10. Maybe I can simplify it a little more. Let's do that also. Okay, this becomes a 9 by 5. So this becomes a, right? Okay, what happens is it becomes 81 by 5. Though my choice of numbers are different. Choice of numbers are not giving me a whole number. But this, if this was a whole number, that many students will be girls. That many students will be girls. It's the same thing. It's like that, right? Or if I take, let's say, um, if I have taken a little better number, I would have got it as a whole number. That's a whole point. Fine. So, however, let's take one more example to make you understand. So, if I have 32% of something, 32% of 400, okay, 32% of 400 students are writing this particular exam or passed this exam, let's say, pass this exam. That means what? 32 by 100 of means into 400. If I simplify that, I'll get 32 into 4 is 128 students have passed. Passed. Now, if the question is 32% of 400 students is passed, but how many have failed? So remember that this we are all talking about pass. Then the failed will be 400 minus 128. Correct? That you will get. So this is how you can take percentages and find out how many, right? How many? Okay. Coming to the next topic of how to convert ratios to percentages. Now, if you say the ratio, see, ratio is one thing where we are not talking over the whole. Like for example, um, the tall building, right? A tall building is there which is of 150-meter high, and another building is there which is 135-meter high. Now we found that the ratio. How will you write the ratio? 150 is to 135. Now, if I have to convert this into percentage, how do I do? We know that again, this ratio can be written as fraction, and we know how to convert a fraction to a percentage. How? By multiplying by 100 and dividing by 100 and keeping this as it is, because that becomes our percentage sign. We should not do the simplification there, and rest of the numbers you start simplifying basically. That's all, right? 15 times 10 and 15 times 9, this becomes a 900 by 9. 900 by 9 percentage, correct? Sorry, 1000 by 9, correct? 1000 by 9 percentage. Say, what is this 1000 by 9? If you want, you can divide it 1000 by 9 and make it into a decimal and write that much percentage, right? You'll get 1 1 1 1 something, so right? Some percent, some decimal you will get, right? When you divide 1000 by 100, 1000 by 9, when you divide it, you get that much percentage. So that becomes your answer. So when you have to convert a ratio to a this percentage, is nothing but convert that ratio into a fraction. And for fraction, 100 by 100, when you multiply, you will get that percentage, right? Okay. The next thing that we're going to talk about is how to show the increase or the decrease as a percentage. Okay. Now, for example, we had, uh, okay, let's take an example of what increases more. Okay. Now you bought something for 20 rupees today. 20 rupees you bought something for today. And the same product, no, same thing. Tomorrow actually the price has become 22 rupees. Okay. Today you bought it for 20 rupees and tomorrow it has increased by 22 rupees. It's called inflation. Okay. So now how much is increased? Of course, 2 rupees is increased. Now, if 2 rupees is increased for this, let's say there's some other product which is like 62 rupees. Now you want to see that one how much would have increased, because everything increases at the same speed, same thing. If you think like that, then for this how much will be the cost today? Previously it was 62 rupees. Now how much it will be? For that to find out, you have to find out what is the increase percentage, because percentage is about on the same thing, on the same 100, right? For 100 rupees how much does change? Now, of course, what is the increase is 2 rupees, but what's the increase percentage? The increase percentage, for that, how much is the increase out of the total? Increase is 2, but if write as a fraction means, for in the beginning it was 20, now the increase is 2. The increase is 2 by 20. In the beginning, this is increase will be how you will represent the increase as a fraction. Increase, how much is the increase? How much ever is the increase? How much has become more? By initial, in the beginning, how much it was. Increase by the initial. That's how you represent that as a fraction. Now, when you convert it into a percentage, a fraction, how do? You multiply and divide by 100 and you don't touch this. You keep it as it is. So, this becomes 5 times. So, it becomes 10. This becomes percentage. So, 10% increase has happened. Now, if you know this, 10% increase has happened. Then you can apply here. You can apply the 10% here. Here also 10% will increase, right? So you first find out what is the 10% of that 62. We learned this also. We have to find out 10% is the increase. So 10% of 62 will be what? So how do we do? We learned that 10 by 100 of means into 62. When we simplify this one, we get to know it is 6.2. That means 6.2 rupees is the increase itself. If the 6 point, if actual price was 62 yesterday, if the increase is 6.2 rupees, my now the product is going to cost me 68.2 rupees today. Okay, watch this part few more times, then you will understand what are we doing here. Correct? So this is called increase percentage. So simple way if you have to tell increase or decrease percentage means increase percentage, okay, increase percentage can be written as increase by the initial in the beginning how much it was into 100 percentage. Why? Because into 100 by 100 this part we are not going to take, no, this becomes our percentage sign, no. So let's remove this part, okay. So basically this much will give you the increase percentage. Now say decrease, again the same thing. Decrease is nothing but how much ever is the decrease by initial in the beginning how it was, okay, into 100. That by 100 whatever is there that will become a percentage. So I'm not writing that there. So this is how you find increase or decrease as a percentage. Okay. So next thing we talk about is cost price, selling price, profit and loss. Means cost price means for how much did you buy a product. Say for example you bought a TV for 8,000 rupees. You bought a TV for 8,000. After 1 or 2 months you say you think that I'm not going to buy this, I'm not going to use this TV, I'll sell it off to somebody, and you sold it at 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, sorry. You sold it at 10,000 just after 1 or 2 months. Okay. So you're selling it is called as a selling price. You're selling this. So this is the selling price. How much did you buy it for? You bought it for means you had to give money and take. So the cost price. Now, if you have bought it for this and sold it for this, what happens? Do you have some money left with you? Yeah, you have 2,000 rupees money left with you. That means you made a profit. You made a profit, right? So, in a profit situation, always the selling price will be greater than cost price. And how do you find the profit? Take the selling price, subtract the cost price, you will get the profit. But instead, you bought it for 8,000, but you could not sell for 10,000. You had to settle for 5,000. You had to sell it for 5,000 because you have used it. People are not ready to buy at the same amount also. Now what happened? Now if you see, selling price is not more than cost price. Selling price is less than the cost price. And thereby what happens? You have to subtract the bigger number minus a smaller number. That means you are incurring a loss. You made a loss of how much? 8,000 minus 5,000. 3,000 was your loss. Okay. Now, with this in idea, now how do you find out profit percentage? Okay. What did we say? Increase or decrease, right? Profit means increase. Profit means increase. And loss means decrease, right? Now, increase percentage, how did you find out? So, if you want profit percentage, it's nothing but increase percentage. Increase percentage, how did we do? We said increase by initial. Increase by initial. Now, into 100, that by 100 we change it into a percentage. Correct? Now, Instead of increase, we know the increase is nothing but the profit. Profit. And initial means what? Initial means in the beginning, what was the price? It was the selling price. In the beginning of the story, it is always the cost price. Beginning of the story, you bought it. That is the first part, initial, in the beginning. So whatever is the profit by the cost price into 100 will give you the profit percentage. It will give you the profit percentage. Profit percentage. Now, similarly, loss means decrease, correct? Now, loss percentage is nothing but decrease percentage. And we learned that decrease percentage means actual decrease by this initial into 100. By 100, I'm not writing it here because that becomes a percentage sign. Now, we know decrease is nothing but the loss. Loss. And initial, in the beginning, what's the beginning of the story? It is the cost price. So by cost price into 100, that will give me loss percentage, right? That's it, right? So with all this knowledge, you can calculate any kind of things into percentage into decimal, all of these things. Remember, percentage is nothing but simple. It's a fraction with the denominator 100. And the sign has a percent. Percent. Per means by. Cent means 100. If you remember these kind of things, then it's going to be easy. That's why the percent, this percent was converted to this sign. Hope you'll this has made your life easy in understanding how to compare different quantities using fractions, decimals, and percentages. See you in the next video. Bye bye.